if I think of like, I've had so many incredible people to model against. My first boss, and I say boss, like I was a consultant. I worked there for about a year. This guy named Darcy. I was in charge of a team of 30 people at the age of 21. So I got a job I was not qualified for. Yeah. And Darcy was the CTO. So he was my boss. I was the senior architect. Again, job I shouldn't have got it. And he pulled me aside. I remember day one, and he said, like, I'm giving you 2 weeks to figure this out. Somehow you got hired or you're here and you need to figure this out. And I went to the library. This is, 2001, and read all about Gantt charts and PLC and product management and all this stuff that I would care to forget. But what Darcy taught me more than anything was what I've called the difference between transactional versus transformational leadership. So transactional, and a lot of first-time founders run into this where, they hire a person to add capacity and they say, hey, do this, tell me when you're done, and they check it, and then they tell them what to do next, which sounds logical. It's like, I hired somebody, I got to manage them, so do this, check they got done, and tell them what to do next. What Darcy taught me at a young age, and I feel so grateful to learn this because I've seen all my friends struggle with this, because you can do that for so long, you get to about 12 people, and then you realize you spend your whole day managing what they're doing, checking that it got done, and you don't actually have any time for yourself. What I learned back then was a difference, what I call transformational leadership, which is getting crystal clear on the outcome. Where are we going? Okay, like what you said, like when you said the pothole example, I'm just gonna tell a funny story. I went backcountry snowmobiling with my brother last winter. I'd never been on a snowmobile. I lied, said I was advanced on the form. We rented these machines and went out. Yeah. I was just like, yeah, expert. I was like, how do you start it? He's like, oh my gosh, start the button. Dangerous. Anyways. And I remember I eventually got the hang of it, but at one point I end up in a bush of trees underneath the bottom, like the whole machine went down, and he comes over and he looks around the field and he goes, why did you hit those trees? There's nothing else for like
looking at
thousands of meters. I was thinking to myself the whole time, don't go in there, don't go in there, don't go in there, don't go. And it's literally, you just see this line where the machine just went.
No.
So I'll tell you what you said, Amy, 100% true. If you look at it, you're going to end up hitting it. Yeah. But transformational leadership is outcome, crystal clear on where we're going, measure. What data point are we going to use to personally assess our progress along this journey? And then the third is coach to success. That coach to success, not criticize, not look for everything wrong, but actually create the opportunity, maybe through your one-on-ones or your weekly meetings with that person, to just say, what do you need from me? Where are you struggling? And use those opportunities to coach that person. Like the best leaders have team members. What I've always thought of is like even professional sports, like great coaches. You can take a great player on a team, but if you move them to a different team, they might actually not be as great because the coach knew how to place them properly. So I always think of my role of, I want that person to feel like they're doing their best work because I've enabled the environment for them to do that. And it's always being really clear on some exciting future and outcome that's good, positive, measure so that we're on the same page, knowing where we're at on that journey, and then making sure there's touch points throughout this kind of like pulse, meetings, rituals, routine, whatever you want to use, in regards to like the cadence, to make sure that they have the space to ask for support and help. And I think that is leadership at its best.
I think so too. And like, just to kind of, springboard off of what you were saying, leadership and management are two different things. There are great managers who will never be great leaders. There are great leaders who absolutely suck at management. And I happen to be one of those. But I think at the end of the day, great leadership is based on the whole concept of being able to inspire people to excellence, right? Which I think is what you're talking about, like getting people excited about what they're doing and wanting them to succeed, and not pigeonholing people and all of this, but inspiring them for like you were saying, for whatever role they're supposed to be. You as a leader want them to be absolutely excellent, right? And so your job is to go out there and create excellence in your people by inspiring them to find out who they are and what they can contribute to the world and business and all of that. Am I right? Or am I putting words in your mouth?
No.
Driver,
Amy, I know you've done a lot, like the work you did at Entrepreneur Magazine. You've seen the entrepreneurs, and when you say there's a difference between management and like leaders, you're so right, because there's a lot of people, especially the ones that get promoted within the function, right? A developer, a salesperson, a marketer that's now supposed to like lead a department. They might be able to manage it, but they won't inspire. They won't do the outcome, the vision, really the coaching, right? They're good on spreadsheets. They're good on this is broken, but they're not going to get people through that. And I think great CEOs, great founders, they're more leaders than managers, right? And if they're smart enough and figure that out, they bring the people, they bring the Tim Cooks around the Steve Jobs.